As a Hello Doctor subscriber, you have access to a doctor's advice 24/7 via your mobile phone. We call that a house call. And what we do now in this segment with Cete and I is we revisit the most interesting call of the week and kind of get to the bottom of the problem just by discussing and talking. It's a bit like medical detectives. And I think we're talking snotty noses this week, aren't we, Cete?
That's exactly what we're talking about. And nobody likes a snotty nose.
You're right.
After all, there are only so many tissues you can stuff into your pocket or bra, if you're that way inclined.
Yes.
Fortunately, the most common causes of a snotty nose are not life-threatening. I say fortunately, only because they happen so often.
No, you're right. But while they're dangerous, they can be seriously annoying. And understanding what's causing them can go a long way in easing up your nose irritation, both literally and figuratively.
An audibly clogged up tabby called us this week to ask what she could do about her snotty nose.
Okay, and yes, the famous leaky faucet. Dozens of things can cause your nose to run, from allergies and illnesses to your four-legged best friend. Certain medications, stress, and even pregnancy can also cause a runny nose. So there's lots of things, but the most common causes of a runny nose include a foreign object in your nose, environmental irritants like cigarette smoke, illnesses like measles or rubella, the flu, the man flu, a far more serious form of the above, and of course, allergies.
Well, Tabby assured me she hadn't shoved anything up her nose since she been rushed to a doctor when she was 5 when there was a missing Barbie shoe.
Okay.
She told me the experience was enough to stop from touching her nose altogether for a few good years.
Or Barbies.
I asked her about her home and work environment, and she confirmed that she wasn't a smoker, and neither was her husband. And the company she works for has a strict no smoking policy.
Good.
So she wasn't really exposed to cigarette smoke all that often.
Okay, so no missing shoes up her nostrils, and we can scratch irritating environments off the list too.
We spoke about both her current health and her past medical history. Serious conditions such as measles, they can result in flu-like symptoms, including a runny nose.
Okay.
Even though measles is a disease found mostly in kids, it has been on the up recently, since parents have stopped giving their children the MMR vaccine.
Oh, and don't do that, parents, please. I'm so glad you brought that up, because we know that there is absolutely no evidence, none whatsoever, that the MMR vaccine causes autism or anything else for that matter. There is, however, overwhelming evidence to support the safety of the vaccine and the devastating effects that measles can have on your health. So give your kids the MMR.
Well, fortunately, Tabby's mother thought that the crazy doctor who started the whole debacle had completely lost his marbles. So she went ahead with the MMR jab with all her kids.
Yeah, good for her. So MMR gone too, tick. There is a lot of confusion between allergies, the flu, and a cold because they all share common symptoms. So how did you get around that?
They do, but there are some key differentiating factors. I asked Tabby how long she'd had the symptoms for. She said she'd been struggling for about a week. She also complained about having a sore throat and a bit of a cough, but she had no fever.
Okay, so that rules flu out. Flu comes on suddenly with no warning and is often accompanied by fevers and muscle aches and pains. Fortunately for Tabby, it couldn't have been man flu either.
She described in graphic detail the color of her mucus. And she showed me that it was clear and not green. So she didn't think she needed an antibiotic. I explained to her that if she was suffering from a cold, the color of her mucus had nothing to do with the type of infection. So it doesn't tell you whether you need an antibiotic or not. This is one of the biggest myths out there.
You are so right, Cete. I mean, the change in color of mucus occurs as part of your immune system process and is not a sign of infection. Both colds and the flu are spread by viruses against which antibiotics are useless. So it's always best to leave the antibiotics for something they really will work against.
She also confirmed she has 3 dogs and 2 cats. So she's not allergic to her animals.
Okay.
So it's definitely not an allergy to pets. So that would rule out the second most common cause of runny nose, which is allergy.
That's right. So allergies is right. We're left with the most common cause of that drip, 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 which happens to be the common cold.
And fortunately, a runny nose from a common cold is a temporary irritation. And most times it clears up within about 10 days. The best thing to do is to put up your feet, up your fluids, get some rest, and choose clothes with bigger pockets.